Dorothea Dix, Reforming the Mentally Insane, Junior Division documentary by George A. Britcher.
Is coming down.
Gentlemen, I respectfully ask to present this memorial, believing that the cause which actuates to and sanctions so unusual a movement prevents no equivocal claim to public consideration and sympathy. About 2 years since leisure afforded opportunity and duty prompted me to visit several prisons and almshouses in the vicinity of this metropolis, I found near Boston, in the jails and asylums for the poor, a numerous class brought into unsuitable connection with criminals and the general mass of populace. I refer to idiots and insane persons, dwelling in circumstances not only adverse to their own physical and moral improvement, but productive of extreme disadvantages to all other persons brought into association with them. I applied myself diligently to trace the causes of these evils and sought to supply remedies. But truth is the highest consideration. I tell what I have seen, painful and shocking as the details often are, that from them you may feel more deeply the imperative obligation which lies upon you to prevent the possibility of a repetition or continuance of such outrages upon humanity. I come as the advocate of helpless, forgotten, insane, and idiotic men and women, of being sunk to a condition from which the most unconcerned would start with real horror, of being wretched in our prisons, and more wretched in our almshouses. I proceed, gentlemen, briefly to call your attention to this present state of insane persons confined within this commonwealth, in cages, closets, cellars, stalls, pens, chained, naked, beaten with rods, and lashed into obedience. Some may say these things cannot be remedied. These furious maniacs are not to be raised from these base conditions. I know they are. Could give many examples. Let one suffice. A young woman, a pauper, in a distant town, Sandusfield, was for years a raging maniac. A cage, chains, and the whip were the agents for controlling her, united with harsh tones and profane language. Annually, the others, the town's poor, she was put up at auction and bid off at the lowest price which was declared for her. 1 year, not long past, an old man came forward in the number of applicants for the poor wretch. He was taunted and ridiculed. What would he and his old wife do with such a mere beast? "My wife says," replied he, "and I shall take her." She was given to the charge. He conveyed her home. She washed, neatly dressed, and placed in a decent bedroom, furnished for comfort and opening into the kitchen. How altered her condition! As yet the chains were not off. The first week she was somewhat restless, at times violent, but the quiet, kind ways of the old people wrought a change. Received her food decently, forsook acts of violence, and no longer uttered blasphemies or indecent language. After a week the chain was lengthened, and she was received as a companion into the kitchen. Soon she engaged in trivial employments. After a fortnight, said the old man, I knocked off the chains and made her a free woman. She is at times excited, but not violently. They are careful of her diet. They keep her very clean. She calls them father and mother. Go there now, and you will find her clothed, and, though not perfectly in her right mind, so far restored as to be a safe and comfortable inmate. Men of Massachusetts, I beg, I implore, I demand pity and protection for these of my suffering, outraged sex. Fathers, husbands, brothers, I would supplicate you for this boon, but what do I say? I dishonor you, divest you, at once of Christianity and humanity. Does this appeal imply trust? If it becomes burdened without a doubt of your righteousness in this legislation, then blot it out. Well, I declare confidence in your honor, not less than your humanity. Here you will put away the cold calculating spirit of selfishness and self-seeking. Lay off the armor of local strife and political opposition. Here and now, for once, forgetful of the earthly perishable, come up to these halls and consecrate them with one heart and one mind to works of righteousness and just judgment. Become the benefactors of your race, the just guardians of the solemn race you hold in trust. Raise up the fallen, succor the desolate, restore the outcast, defend the helpless, and for your eternal and great reward receive the benediction. Well done, good and faithful servants. Become rulers over many things. And the master of the Plymouth almshouse. It is not few, but many. It is not a part, but the whole, who bear unqualified testimony to this evil. A voice strong and deep comes from every almshouse and prison in Massachusetts, where the insane are or have been protesting against such evils as have been illustrated in the preceding pages. Gentlemen, I commit to you this sacred cause. Your action upon this subject will affect the present and future condition of hundreds and of thousands. In this legislation, as in all things, may you exercise that wisdom which is the breath of the power of God. Respectfully submitted, D.L. DIX, 85 Mountain Vernon Street, Boston, January 1840.